Well, you've seen the video, and now how about meet some of our heavy hitters up close and in personal? Right?
Right, right.
Sherilyn Strong, our resource director, Dr. Maurice Lee, and Julia Mathias. So good to have all of you here today.
It's great to
Happy
be here.
holidays.
Thank you.
So, Sherilyn, you are the director of the Resource Center.
Yes.
You oversee, and by the way, it has been expanded. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's spectacular.
Yes, it is.
How do the enhanced services there help your guests?
Okay. Thank you for asking that question, Mark. The new facility offers a one-stop shopping experience for those who need us most. It's a relatively modern concept in the world of the not-for-profit, but it brings much-needed services together under one roof in one convenient, friendly, and accepting location so that the guests and the people that we serve, the term is for them is guests, so that the guests get to know who's serving them, to recognize our faces, and to learn our names. It also means that because the services are in one place, they're required to take fewer buses to traverse the city for services and to make fewer unanswered phone calls. Currently, the new facility, the Resource Center, has expanded, we've grown, and we now provide on-site assistance for benefit applications and determinations on the spot. No more waiting, no more long lines, they can get it done right there. And those determinations are for food stamps, cash assistance, and medical insurance. We provide appropriate job interview attire. We help individuals to search for jobs and to land them. We provide health education and screenings, housing and mental health referrals, and legal aid. I have a vision, though, for St. Vincent de Paul's Resource Center. May I share the vision?
Please do.
Thank you. And my vision is that we will eventually, our Resource Center, St. Vincent de Paul, will eventually provide a continuum of services so that we meet people where they are as they enter our doors, and we walk with them toward a path of self-sufficiency and something that you said earlier this morning in your introductions, sustainability, because that's important.
You know, I was at the facility the other day, and I'm not just saying this because it's something that they want me to say, but it's something that I saw firsthand. You walk in, and it looks like something that you would see at any Fortune 500 company, cubicles set up with computers, with people willing to help from point A, and then they go to point B, and they go to, and it truly, as you said, is one-stop shopping. Mm-hmm. But you are on the front lines of seeing some of the people every day who are in a bad spot. They're down on their luck. Misfortune has hit them or their families. What is the toughest part of what you do every day?
The toughest part of what I do is to have to say no, is to see the fear, desperation, and hopelessness in somebody's eyes. They've come to us because they have no other place to go to, and I have to say no. Or to deny shelter, emergency shelter, to parents who are literally living on the streets with their infants, their children, their youth, sleeping in doorways, under bushes, on sidewalks, in the park. And I've used all of the available resources for the month and just can't do it. Or I feel especially guilty to have to deny assistance to the elderly frail because we just don't have enough resources to go around. So at the end of the day, Mark, as I'm driving home. It's not those who we were able to help that I'm thinking about. It's all of those who we weren't able to provide assistance for, that weighs heavily on my heart at the end of the day.
And dollars could help you.
Oh,
So you wouldn't have
absolutely.
that feeling when you drove home.
Absolutely. If we could help more people, if we could say yes to, I have 80-year-old people who are feeble and frail that I have to deny assistance for. Parents with infants that I have to say no to. It's tough.
You see all these people out here?
I do.
They're going to change your life today.
Absolutely.
They are going to change your life.
Right on.
Are you going to change her life?
Thank you.
One of the things that we always talk about on 12 News is when a hometown guy makes good. When a hometown guy decides to play for the Cardinals or maybe the D-backs, stays in his community with immense talent, a guy that could have gone anywhere but wanted to stay home. And that's Dr. Maurice Lee. Dr. Maurice Lee is the Chief Medical Officer at St. Vincent de Paul. I told you earlier this morning about the new facilities, and when I was down there, I was walking through, and Dr. Lee came in the same time we were walking through, and he was like a kid on Christmas morning seeing this new construction, this new clinic that's going to serve so many people. And first of all, I just want to say thanks for staying here, because you could have gone anywhere.
You know, you got me really excited when you said the Cardinals. I thought maybe I had finally had that contract waiting on, but yeah, I couldn't see myself anywhere else.
Well, I think it says so much about you that you decided to stay here and help us with your great talent. So thank you for that.
It's a pleasure.
Dr. Lee, how is this new and expanded, bright and shiny clinic going to help those who need your help?
Well, so the clinic has always been in existence to meet the needs of the community. So it's not like we're going to make something new. When you look at the uninsured now, it was just 2018, the Affordable Care Act has taken place, and in the central Phoenix area, 1 in 3 people are still uninsured. And those people, the only place they can access specialty care, like a neurologist or a cardiologist, is through our clinic. So I don't know if you can imagine having a recent heart attack or a stroke and then not being able to follow up with a cardiologist or a neurologist. So that's just 2 of the 20 plus specialists that we have in our clinic. So clearly, if we have more space, we can give them more time in the clinic. We can increase the number of volunteers that are coming to the clinic to offer those services. And one thing I also want to do is take services that just aren't really available. I mean, we'll offer it once a week or once a month, things like counseling, physical therapy, and just make it every day. That way the people with the highest need get the fewest resources, are able to get the service they need. And unfortunately, those with the fewest resources end up they think the emergency room is the catch-all. So if you're sick, if something's going on, we'll go there and they'll take care of me. So I'm sure everyone's been in the emergency room. You get there, you wait 4 hours, 8 hours, especially if you don't have an emergency. And the doctor sees you, they order a bunch of tests, and at the end, 2 months later, you'll get a bill. I just got one myself for a couple $1,000s, even with insurance. And then they say, you should follow up with your doctor. So we want to skip that part. We want to help the community not have to go to the emergency room just to find out about us, and create more of a pipeline from all the hospitals so that they can send the patients directly to us so we can be their medical home.
You guys really, I think people would be surprised if you went in there, and I would encourage anyone who can to go down to the main campus and take a look at this new medical clinic. But what are some of the things that make your clinic different from other clinics?
So I originally went into medicine. It was kind of different, but I went into medicine to help those who either couldn't get in to see someone, or when they did get in to see someone, they weren't getting the care that they deserved. And when you think about St. Vincent de Paul, the population that goes there, 99% of them fit into either one or both of those categories. And our population is typically described as the working poor, so they're working in jobs that don't usually offer health coverage. And they're just like you and I, so they have their chronic diseases, and if they get a complication from one of those, the community clinics that are out there aren't able to take care of the need that they have. And so the perfect example is a patient we had referred to us a couple months ago. He's in his 40s. He works as a maintenance guy at an apartment complex. So he was just working and stepped on something, went through his foot, and caused a little wound. And because he had uncontrolled diabetes, it never healed. So he couldn't stop working. He was the only person that worked in the house supporting his family. So he kept working on that foot, and it got to the point where he was about to lose his foot. So he had been to, I think, 3 different clinics, a couple different hospitals, and they did the Band-Aid treatment. So they said, oh yeah, well, here's some antibiotics or whatever else. Go follow up with your doctor, right? They give him that line too. So thankfully, he was referred to us from a community clinic about 2 miles down the street. And we immediately got him in with our wound team, our podiatrist, and they were taking care of his wound while our family wellness program and primary care got his diabetes under control. We found out he also had advanced kidney disease from the diabetes. He had advanced eye disease from the diabetes, so now we're setting him up for an eye surgery. But now his diabetes is perfectly controlled. His wound's almost closed, and he's about to go back to work and live the life that he should be living. So when you ask what makes our clinic different, we're the only clinic that could have taken him and gotten him to the point where he is now, instead of putting another Band-Aid on it and saying, oh, follow up at your doctor's. So that's really why I'm at St. Vincent de Paul. And some physicians might have 3 or 4 stories like that through their career, where we get to do that every day. So, I have 4 stories like that every single week. I call my mom on the way home at rush hour traffic, why not, right? So it's the perfect time.
It's always good to call mom.
She loves hearing those stories, so yeah. And he's really the reason why I'm at St. Vincent de Paul, and I'm really lucky, so.
One of the neat things, Dr. Lee, that I thought was, and maybe you can tell the folks a little bit about this, is it's just not about treating with someone with diabetes, for example, but someone who's diabetic comes in and they're not eating the right diet. There's a farm there. So you're taking your patients and you're showing them what they should eat, and maybe you're providing them with fresh produce instead of eating chips and candy bars. You're redirecting so that it's a lifestyle change, which is amazing.
Yeah, and so it would be nice for people to think that I do all this all by myself with no resources whatsoever. But honestly, I think patients really get lucky when they come into our clinic, because in a month it's going to be doing. Right now, you come in and it's in a hallway. We have 5 rooms, but we have so many resources. We have this huge family wellness program that get people. I always get too medical, but their sugars are this high. I think that's the best way to say it. So A1C of 14. And there's no way you can get that down without a bunch of insulin, 4 injections a day, a bunch of other medications. And they're able to get them within about 3 months off all their meds, and their sugars are completely controlled. So yeah, we're very lucky. I don't have that expertise, but I definitely use them for it.
Yeah, it's about self-sufficiency and getting people back on their feet. Julia Mathias is the director of the Osna Manor Shelter. And I will tell you, after walking through there, it does not feel anything like a shelter. No. It feels like a Marriott courtyard. It does. It is clean, it is modern, there are TVs for people to watch. Okay. They don't feel, and I'm sure it's part of the philosophy there, is they don't feel like they're in a shelter when they come there. And I'm wondering, how is this new facility really making a difference for these folks?
Well, first of all, we are still so grateful and excited to be there, because it is beautiful. I mean, it's a really great place to come and be and come to work every day, just because of how gorgeous it is and how peaceful it is. Some of the things that have given us the most benefit as far as how we do our work are things that seem really mundane at first. So, for example, our shelter is on the 2nd floor of the building, and we have an elevator, right? So to me, that's something that could be so easily taken for granted. But what it's done for us is that we are able to take in more people who need walkers to get around, who need wheelchairs to get around. And we didn't really have that luxury at the old facility. So at our old place, it was a 2-story shelter, but half of the rooms were on the 2nd floor. So sometimes when people came to us who needed wheelchairs, they would be on a longer waiting list to get in, because we just didn't have the beds for them. Another thing that I think is really, it seems so simple, is walls. So you probably have walls in your house. I have walls in my house. You all probably have walls in your houses. But at the old facility, what we really had was a large room with beds lined up, hospital style, with curtains in between each bed. And now we have each area that the resident has 6-foot-high walls in between. And it really just speaks to how St. Vincent de Paul values the integrity and the dignity of the people we serve, and we're able to give them this personal space that we weren't able to give them before. And then I think the other really big benefit to us, to our program, has been just coming home to the main campus and really being able to live in community with all of the departments there. So, for example, how we operate is that the residents every day at lunch come to the Hall of Banners and they eat lunch with the staff and the volunteers at St. Vincent de Paul. So they've really been welcomed into the St. Vincent de Paul community. And partly because of that welcome, they are able to then go out and integrate into the St. Vincent de Paul community, sharing their own gifts. So most of our residents volunteer with us. And I think we have volunteers in nearly every department at St. Vincent de Paul who are living with us at Ozanam Manor. So, and then we're also able to use, the family wellness program as well has helped us, and Sherilyn's group at the Resource Center, we're able to use the services there, and we can send people across the street to the dental clinic, and so it's really been a benefit for us.
Whatever you all think about what a shelter would look like, the one thing in the shelters I've been in, at least, until I went to Ozanam, is there is this vibe of you feel defeated when you're there. You're at the bottom. And now it's anything but defeated. This gives the people hope. The message that I got, the vibe that I got when I was there was, this is only temporary. You're on your way. Things are going to get better. You have a ton of success stories, I know, but maybe just share one or two with us.
Just one? I can keep going.
I bet you could.
So, okay, when we think about success stories, a lot of people like to share the success stories of this person got into housing. That's kind of that's our main goal. And we have those all the time. We had one last week, one of our residents named Kurt got into an apartment. He's been struggling with a cancer diagnosis, and he now has a safe and secure place where he can really fight that fight. So that's one of our main successes. But to me, on a personal level, the smaller victories that we see every day are what keep me here, what keep me working. And it could be really simple. So it could be Greg, who came to us with this big bushy beard, and he went over to the Resource Center and got a shave, and he came back to us with the biggest smile because he just didn't have the ability to shave it off before he came to us. And it could be one of our residents who just came to us as a recent amputee. He had his leg needed to be amputated. And he was talking to his doctor, and his doctor offered him a motorized wheelchair, and he turned it down because he was so determined to walk again and get back to work. And he said, no, that's going to be a barrier to me if I have that. And so this week he was fitted with his prosthetic. And it could be just one of our residents named Jen. She has been volunteering in our IT department. She has an IT background, so as she's going through her journey, she's able to actually give back to all of us and work on all of our computer issues, which is a huge benefit for us. So I think it's just, the reason those are so important to me is because it's the relationship with the people that we serve. That's the reason we're here. We're here to serve them person to person. And just like you would celebrate any small victory in your family, we get to celebrate all those small victories in our family. And we really couldn't do it without all the support we get.
Folks, 3 of the rock stars, the many rock stars down at St. Vincent de Paul, who are powered by the light that you give by being here and by your generous donation. So thank you all.